Welcome back, wrestling fans, here at Evolution of Pro Wrestling, the encyclopedia of pro wrestling, and the wrestling whiz kid Jaden back at it.
Yep.
Okay, now let's see if we can get some people on here.
Absolutely.
And let's get Jose Gonzalez, the mischief, I should say, the controversial Jose G of Ricans of Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. But while we do that, let's get back to this Macho Man and Steamboat match. Like you guys said, one of the greatest matches probably of wrestling history. Those guys absolutely stole the show, you know, all those stuff. So yeah, that was an absolutely great match.
Of Ricans of Wrestling, the controversial Jose G. Welcome, brother. It's a pleasure to have you on, man.
What's going on, guys? Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We can hear you perfectly.
All right, good. Yeah, audio's good. I hear you guys. What's going on, guys? What are we talking about? First of all,
man, we are
first of
talking
all,
about.
I gotta say something about this damn list. Why did we not put The Rock and Stone Cold up in there? I mean, that's
a good question. No,
Why is that match not in there?
You know, that's funny because I was looking at the list and I was like, hold on, I feel like we're missing a match here, but I can't get it off of my tongue. And then Jose names the match, so I'm like, okay, we were missing a match, and it was Stone Cold against The Rock at WrestleMania 17.
No, but you see that it hasn't even been a minute, and Jose's already causing his controversy.
Hey, he has
on
to
the
speak.
show.
He has
So
to speak.
here we go.
I'm just saying. I get dragged onto the show.
And you're absolutely right. Many fans have been questioning why The Rock and Stone Cold are not on that list. I'm not sure why. This was a fan-based vote by the fans on these matches. I like the match. I like the Stone Cold rivalry. Like they should have been on that list. You know, they can also be an honorary pick on the list, you know, by Jose G. When you hear this list, Jose G, which match, in your opinion, sticks out the most?
Well, I mean, the one match that definitely sticks out to me, man, and for me is like the blueprint of what a wrestling match should be is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy. That's just my all-time favorite match. Just because of the storytelling from beginning. That's just one of my favorite matches of all time from beginning to end. That's just me.
No, I completely agree. You know, I just told my son, to me, they outdid the Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan match. So it was just superb. It was a good match. And I don't think to this day, besides The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, no match has surpassed that match of expectations of my opinion.
I don't feel like they surpassed, but I feel like a few matches could came close.
Well,
Possibly. No, not possibly. I know for sure a few matches could have came close. Like, for example, the one you just listed, the Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker one. That one was absolutely close to that match. You know, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels put on an absolute show. I feel like that match right there stole the show. It was just like this Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat match. It stole the show. So I feel like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels could be at a tie or a little less lower than the rankings of Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's match, because I absolutely enjoyed Shawn Michaels' match. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's match.
Now, before we continue, we want to just let everyone know, please feel free to share in your content, share the wrestling group, share all over.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm making sure I'm sharing in every single group. I'm making sure I'm starting your watch party. So, guys, if you guys are just joining us, make sure you share the show right now and show the support for the evolution of pro wrestling.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Let's get some eyes in this right now. Let's talk about it.
No, absolutely. And let me ask you a question, Jose. Do you think that a match like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker would have happened if Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man happened at WrestleMania?
I don't know, man. That's hard to say. Wow, that's a great question. What that match would have happened if Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man wouldn't have happened? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I wish I was like Rick Sanchez and I can go to a portal and just go to that timeline and see what that timeline looks like, because I don't know if that would happen. I'm one to say that I think that match would have still happened one way or another, just because Shawn Michaels would have developed to who he is as a person and as a character, and I believe that Undertaker, same thing, he still would have developed his own as a character. Not saying that Ricky and Macho didn't have any influence on Taker and Shawn, but I just think that the match would have happened regardless, just because of who they are as characters slash people.
Okay, okay. That's very interesting. Let's try again. We sorry about that, fans. We had a little technical difficulty, a little outage. Okay, we apologize for that. All right. Yep, the internet went down. Let's check again if we can add Jose. Let's see what we're gonna do. Oh man, that was terrible. Sorry about that. We had a technical difficulty. The internet went out.
Is this how you treat your special guests on your show, Lewis? Just constantly dropping the signal and just cutting me off. I mean, I see how it is, man. Jesus. How the hell did I sign up to be on this show today?
Listen, man, listen. We know that you're feeling angry about the Stone Cold and Rock match. I understand. You know,
just a little heated. Just a little heated.
Just a little bit. I understand. We'll add that match on there, and you get the choice of removing a match out of that list.
I get a choice. Okay, let me look at this list real quick. Hold on. Let me get my email. Boom. All right. So if I had to remove any of the matches on this list, I would probably remove Owen Hart versus Bret Hart.
For Stone Cold and The Rock.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The storytelling in The Rock versus Stone Cold is just bear none by. It's just one of the best storylines ever. I mean, it lasted for, I think it was like from 98 to about 2003 when their final match culminated at that one WrestleMania where The Rock finally got the win over Stone Cold. And it was kind of like a nice little, salute and as much respect that they really showed each other. And it was just, I don't know. For me, I grew up in that era, and to me, that was just one of the best pieces of storytelling in wrestling by none. Rock versus Stone Cold.
No, absolutely. That match pretty much signified the Attitude Era. I should say that pretty much they both were fighting for number one, especially when Stone Cold, did get injured, with his neck. The Rock pretty much carried the torch. And I enjoyed the rivalry completely throughout the entire year of that time. So,
those guys had a big storytelling of that match, like Jose said, and all the events that led up to those matches, from Stone Cold beating The Rock all those times to like Jose said, The Rock finally getting that win, and those guys duped it out. They did their best. They both went for number one. And then one of them got it.
Now I'm gonna get Jose upset now because I'm gonna ask him this question: do you think Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano belong on this list?
Wow.
And why?
I don't know, man, because who came up with this list? Did you come up with this list?
No.
Okay, the internet came up with this, right?
Yes, I put a fan poll and they gave it to me, and these were the matches that came out. And yes, we had many people mentioning other matches. They mentioned Bret Hart against Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10 for the first time when they fought, and people thought that was by far one of the best technical matches they've ever seen at WrestleMania. So for them to put Owen Hart and Bret Hart at SummerSlam instead of both of them at WrestleMania, it kind of had me thinking too. This is where the controversy comes in, like where you see CM Punk and John Cena. Okay, CM Punk, excellent talent, but I don't think to have CM Punk and John Cena on that list, I don't think it should have been on there, in my opinion.
I mean, did we forget CM Punk versus AJ Styles? I mean, that was like a 5-star match according to Dave Meltzer. That was a hell of a match. What about Adam Cole versus Ricochet when Adam Cole super kicked him in the neck? Great matches out there. And to kind of really narrow him down into 9, it's really hard. It's almost like you have to create like little subdivisions of wrestling matches. You need to take your technical matches. You need to take your high-flying matches. And you need to take like your powerhouse matches and just category them differently and structure them differently. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, it sure does. It sure does. Like you putting up Eddie Guerrero. On this list is Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar. Not too many people thought this should have been on the list, but I think it was a big message for when Eddie Guerrero won that match.
Absolutely, yeah.
That definitely deserves to be on the list.
All the demons the man went through, the tribulations, all that stuff, just to become the WWE champion. It was an amazing feat to get.
Said, it was a message. It was a message. It was a message. Yeah, it was a great moment for him. All that.
I think if that match would have never happened, the CM Punk and John Cena match would have never went down the road, in my opinion.
I agree.
They gave that shot to CM Punk. They gave him the title. They believed in CM Punk, but many people did not believe in CM Punk. And the guy that believed in CM Punk was Paul Heyman at the time. So
and let's be honest. I know like this isn't like really about like Brock Lesnar's circle right now, but Brock Lesnar was actually good enough to fight against people like Eddie Guerrero type wrestlers. So people like Eddie Guerrero or like another Randy Orton or like an old prime Triple H. Back then, Brock Lesnar was good enough to fight people like that. Now it's all about Suplex City. Which don't get me wrong, like Jose said last time he was on the show. Once he gets in the zone, there's no stopping him. But I also feel like, sometimes you gotta cut out, all the suplex and stuff like that.
Well, okay. So we gotta get to a comment here, Jose. We have Moses Marquez that stated AJ Styles and CM Punk never wrestled in WWE, but they have had other numerous battles in the indie scene back then, of what I'm understanding. So regardless of the fact, if these two get lock horns in WWE, God knows what this match is going to be like.
Oh, yeah.
So that will probably be one of the greatest matches I can ever see in this era.
If they play their cards.
If they play their cards right. Now, what did you think about the transition with Bret Hart and Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13?
Well, that was actually one of my favorite matches growing up as a kid. The first blood match between those two guys. I mean, that was crazy. Just seeing Stone Cold locked in the sharpshooter, not quitting in a pile of his own blood was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life as a 13, 14-year-old kid growing up and watching, WWF. And I thought that was good, and it did wonders for Stone Cold. It really elevated the character that is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, absolutely. It pretty much, people think it was a face turn right there. The fans got onto him. Bret Hart turned heel, which I kind of like the character of both. But Stone Cold pretty much was that neutral type.
He was an anti. He was like an heel. He was like an anti. He wasn't a heel or a face.
He was just neutral.
Exactly. He would do bad things. He would disrespect the manager and all that stuff. But sometimes he would beat down the people that would probably get ambushed. So he would save people, or he would go against the people he didn't like. That was just the type of person Stone Cold was, and you would have to understand his character to understand who Stone Cold is and to understand why he does the things he does.
Well, it's pretty much the way the Attitude Era was, the way Stone Cold was, like everybody enjoyed it.
Exactly.
Myself.
Right.
But was this match better than HBK and Kurt Angle?
And see, that's a whole nother level because we're talking from one generation to another.
Yep.
And Kurt Angle's just a beast on his own, man.
Oh,
Kurt Angle is definitely one of the greatest of all time to ever lace up a pair of boots and to ever get in that ring. And Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels was special. I think anything that Kurt Angle was involved in during that Ruthless Aggression era was special. Anything Kurt Angle did was special.
Okay. Do you think he would have been able to take on the likes of Bret Hart?
Oh yeah, I think he would have smoked Bret Hart.
Really?
He would have given, bro. He would have given.
I don't know about smoking him.
Kurt Angle would have smoked and he would have given the smoke. All day, every day, bro.
But look,
he would have broken that ankle. He would have given them that Olympic slam. 1, 2, 3. That's it, bro. Bret don't want that
smoke.
What I'm saying. Bret doesn't want. Listen, exactly. I love Bret, but Bret doesn't want that smoke from Kurt Angle, bro. He does not want that 100% American Olympic gold medalist wrestler, bro. He doesn't want none of that. What? Besides being WWE champion, has Bret Hart won a gold medal at the Olympics?
No.
Exactly.
Look, exactly like he said, Bret Hart was a technical wrestler, but Kurt Angle had it all. Kurt Angle could do the slam, and he was a submission. He was a submission specialist. So you had two submission specialists.
Okay, listen.
I gotta go with Kurt Angle.
No, I understand. I understand you guys are on the Kurt Angle bandwagon. I feel the Kurt Angle bandwagon. Okay?
No, it's not a bandwagon, bro. It's facts.
Exactly.
I'm not disagreeing with the facts, but that's what I'm saying. Bret Hart is what the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. The man beat Ric Flair. He beat Shawn Michaels.
He beat a lot of greats. Exactly.
And yes, Kurt Angle beat The Rock. He beat Shawn Michaels. Beat The Undertaker at one point. But can he beat a Bret Hart?
Yes, he can.
Absolutely.
What type of match it is?
Absolutely.
And
twice on Sunday.
It would matter.
No, but look, it wouldn't matter what type of match because either way, they're both submission specialists. Bret Hart with the sharpshooter, but Kurt Angle with that ankle lock. There is no way you can get out of that ankle lock. I understand the sharpshooter is probably one of the most dangerous submissions, but once Kurt Angle gets in the zone, he's like another Brock Lesnar. Slam, then he gets you with the ankle lock. That's it. You're done. No more. So imagine Bret Hart going like that, and then Kurt Angle reverses. That's it. It's game over. That's Kurt Angle all the way.
Bro, listen, it doesn't matter how excellent you are at executing your submission maneuvers. Once Kurt Angle gets you in that Olympic slam or that ankle lock, you done, bro.
Exactly.
I see how my brother is. So we keep it at that. So let's go to the comments. We have Moses Marquez says that if you want to talk about matches outside the list, you got to talk about Kenny Omega and Okada, the best match ever.
Oh God, come on, no. I'm just gonna leave this. I'm done. Okada and Kenny Omega.
What happened? Come on.
God, sorry.
See? And then we got another one that says, what about the 2000 Royal Rumble with Cactus Jack and Triple H? We also have Daniel Crimmins that says Bret Hart is overrated. There, I said it.
See, Daniel Crimmins, thank you for seeing the light.
Yes.
Thank you for seeing the light.
Come on, man.
You can't lie though. Back then, Bret Hart was, a little overrated.
Listen, Bret Hart. I understand. He used to bitch and complain a lot and whine. Yeah, I want to be WWE champion because he didn't want nobody else to go over. Not Shawn Michaels, not Sid Justice, not Undertaker, anybody. But the man was still great in the ring.
He was great in the ring. Yeah, exactly.
But in a sense, I kind of agree with you guys that Kurt Angle beating him. Okay, next match.
What? I thought you were a man that stuck by your convictions. I thought you were gonna stick by Bret Hart till you died.
No, I stick by Bret Hart. But depending on the match, if it's a submission match, it's kind of hard to call. But like you guys said, if Kurt Angle just get that ankle, it's enough. It's over. It's the end of the story. Game over.
Exactly.
So anyway, what about your favorite crew, your favorite two women, Sasha Banks and Bailey, NXT Championship and NXT Takeover Brooklyn. To me, by far, one of the best women's match I've ever seen. To me, in my opinion, transcended the women's evolution in professional wrestling. What are your thoughts on that, Jose?
Oh, bro, that is the match that transcended the women's evolution in wrestling. Period. That match really set the tone. I mean, to think about that match. That match was 5 years ago. Think about that, bro. That match was 5 years ago. And how much has women's wrestling has changed in 5 years? We went from going to having a 1 to 2 minute match on the air, or some type of backstage gimmick or a bra and panty gimmick that was just not wrestling related. And now we're having solid storylines, solid performances in the ring by all females. Doesn't matter if it's Nia Jax, who we know that is not that great, and there's a lot of people that are not, very critical of her. But again, she is a performer, and things are going to happen in the ring. But from Nia Jax to Charlotte Flair, I mean, every single female in that roster, I don't think they would be there where they are right now if it wasn't for Sasha versus Bailey at NXT Takeover.
Yeah.
Because
And it doesn't just set a tone.
Let's ask the Wiz Kid over here, Mr. Wrestling Wiz Kid. What do you think of this match, knowing the fact that it was a main event of women, not men? They main evented NXT Takeover Brooklyn. I'm sorry, New York.
I feel like this match doesn't send a tone, not only a tone, but it also sends a message. It sends a message that women can do just as great as the men can do. Women can wrestle just as great as the men. And just like Jose said, look at how much the WWE and the women's territory transcended. They now have, ladder matches, Money in the Bank matches, Hell in a Cell matches. Almost every match that the men have, the women are now having, because they're now realizing that the women can do just as great as the men can do. Not all of these women in the WWE are, as smooth as, some of the wrestlers we see, as the women wrestlers we see now. But at the end of the day, just like Jose said, they're still performers. They're still giving on performances. They don't have to. They do it for for the fun, for the fans, for the WWE company and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like the women's wrestling wouldn't be the way it is if that match was to never occur. Or if it was to occur,
Wow.
I feel like the match wouldn't have been as good. They probably would have just washed the whole women's industry away.
You get a new title now. You don't know how to act?
I'm just stating the facts.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, I overheard, this is a rumor anyway. I don't know how close this rumor is, Jose, that Charlotte Flair is thinking of going for a men's title. Is that true?
That's the rumor. That I've been reading the same things. I've made some phone calls to some of my sources. I mean, it just looks to be like a rumor right now. But I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, she's beaten virtually everybody in the women's division. Now she just needs to beat some men, and why not put the United States title on her? Make her Intercontinental Champion like China was back in the day.
That's interesting. Before we continue, we got your buddy Ben Cliff. Jose, he says 2 doses. He said, yes, 2 doses of Lewis and Jose G today. Makes me happy. Hello from England.
Hello, Ben.
Facts, one of the best women's matches of NXT of all time. And Ben Cliff says, as a single straight man, I do miss bra and panties match massively. Okay. Okay.
They're available in the WWE Network, Ben. So if you have, it's free now. You can get to the free subscription of the network. You can probably go and watch some Monday Night Wars, and you can watch some good old bra and panty matches there.
So, in your opinion, Jose, which match you think, besides the Owen Hart's Bret Hart match, should not be had all? Like, is not even worthy of being on this list? Because you see the notable superstars here. You see who they are. You see the people they've wrestled, the career they've had all over professional wrestling. What's your take on this?
Man, you know what? It's a hard one because all of these matches are so important. Every single one of them. That is a hard question to answer. But you know what? I'm gonna swing it over to Jaden and let Jaden answer for me, because that way
Ooh, there you go.
he can kind of set the tone, and maybe I can piggyback off of him, because I don't know. I really
Oh,
don't know.
Okay, so
Because
this one was
we got the wrestling whiz kid up in here.
okay.
Come on, Wiz Kid. This is for you.
Oh man, this is oof. Okay.
Okay,
Then I need you to
I'm
do
gonna
this.
answer
I
this
can't really
question
do this.
first. I'm
I
just gonna
can't. It's
flat out
too
come
hard.
with it.
They're all good.
In my opinion, I think the CM Punk and John Cena.
Okay,
match.
whoa. I gotta stop you right there. I gotta stop you right there.
Why?
I have to stop you
Why?
right there. Okay, so I understand, John Cena was like, he's not really, such a popular wrestler as nowadays, but John Cena fought hard and he fought strong to get to the point where he got. He went through bloody matches. He went through all these crazy matches. He's like 16-time world champion, not world champion, 16-time champion. So he worked hard. CM Punk held the title for over like 400 and something days. So CM Punk also worked hard. So there's basically two guys that worked super hard to get where they wanted, and they both fought each other.
Okay.
And they both got respect out of the match. So that match was just setting a tone that two guys who made it to the top fought each other, and they both got respected no matter who won or who lost.
Okay. So pretty much you guys don't pick any because you pretty much like all the matches, right?
I mean, the only one, like I said, I'm still a little hurt that Stone Cold versus Rock ain't here, and that's the one that needs to be in here, because Owen Hart versus Bret Hart needs to come out, and Stone Cold versus Rock needs to be there. All of them, the trilogy. That's my pick. And besides that, you don't take anything else out of this list.
Okay, so we're actually gonna make that change just for you. We're gonna take Owen Hart, Bret Hart. We're gonna put Stone Cold on that list. Then we're gonna give you the choice of picking the 3 top matches out of this list, in your opinion, that were the greatest wrestling matches in professional wrestling out of this list. And you can add Stone Cold and The Rock.
Okay, well, all right. Well, then top 1, Stone Cold Rock trilogy. Number 2, it's got to be Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero. And number 3, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage.
Excellent. Those are excellent picks. Jaden, what about you?
Okay, mine's is, of course, the CM Punk and John Cena one. HBK versus Shawn Michaels. And, you know what? I gotta go with Shawn and Kurt Angle.
Okay.
Good choice.
Good choice. Well, my picks would be Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26 for sure. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage. And as crazy as I'm going to say this, I would have to go with Adam Cole against Johnny Gargano.
Wow, you're not even taking into account Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa, all of them, huh? You're not even thinking about those, huh?
see, he's putting me on the spot here. He's putting me on the spot. These are fan made lists. Come on.
Just saying.
We can make it an honor. We can make it an honorary pick. How about that?
No. You can't keep fidgeting your picks.
Come on.
You gotta stick with your picks, bro.
Yeah, Daddy.
Okay, speaking of picks, we're talking about the greatest wrestling matches of all time, which brings us to Backlash.
Yeah, Backlash is this Sunday. Yeah, baby.
Which everybody is talking about. Everybody's talking about this match, as they say, is the greatest wrestling match of all time, which we're going to get to in just a few moments. But Backlash has an amazing card. We were talking about that yesterday, Jay, on Weekends of Wrestling about our picks, and we gave our picks, and I'm going to stick to my picks when we're mentioning this. So we have Bayley and Sasha Banks against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against the Iconics, Jessica McKay and Casey McIntosh. Now,
what? you better put some respect on that team, Lewis.
He wants the team to win. Even though he mentioned yesterday he wants to go for
You
Bailey.
very well
But if they
know that
win,
their
he
name
will
is
not be
Billy
mad about
Kay.
it.
Come on now. No, I'm sticking by my convictions. The Blueprint and the Role Model are retaining those tag team
Of
championships.
course. Of course. But then you know that battle's going to come at SummerSlam.
Oh, it will. But it's not. But they're keeping those titles on Sunday.
Of course they are. But the Iconics ain't definitely winning. That's for sure.
It'll be very close.
Oh,
It would be really
it could be.
Knowing that if they were to make the Iconics win, which I highly doubt, they'll probably make them win like like one of them probably sliding through the ring and then the other one giving a distraction. They'll probably make them win in probably one of the stupidest ways. But like it would be funny to watch though. Don't get me wrong, it would be funny to watch if they were to win the match. But they're probably gonna keep the titles on Sasha and Bailey for now, and then like you guys said, the match will probably come at SummerSlam where they actually go head to head.
No, absolutely. They listen. That match is coming.
Yeah.
Jose doesn't want it, but it's coming. He doesn't want to break. He don't want that team to break up. They're good friends, and he doesn't want.
I don't want them to break up either, but it would be a nice match.
Of course, it would be a nice match.
You see, Jaden even agrees with me that Bailey, the Role Model, and the Blueprint, Sasha Banks, was best for business.
All right.
We shall see. We shall see. Before we continue, let's go to a few comments. Daniel Crimmins says they're going to use this to further the Sasha Bailey program. Ben Cliff says Matt Morgan is the Blueprint Jose Gonzalez.
That's true. That's true. In 2005, he's no longer wrestling. He's actually right now the mayor of Longwood.
He's the mayor of Florida.
He's the mayor of Longwood. So he's no longer the Blueprint. So Matt Morgan just pretty much like, here, have the name. And now Sasha Banks is the Blueprint.
Yep. Next match, Jaden, we have Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. Now, Jaden, I'm not sure if you've been watching. They've been using Jeff Hardy's personal life to do an angle in professional wrestling. It's like we mentioned on Jose's show yesterday. It's a ridiculous but entertaining storyline that has people talking. And
I feel like it's ridiculous because like you never know what's going on in a person's life.
Yeah, but I understand. He's allowing it to happen.
But that's the ridiculous thing. He's allowing it to happen. Like personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable with people putting my personal life out there. But it's entertaining because it's coming from his backstory, everything he went through, and how he got in that situation and stuff like that. And since Sheamus is like one of that heel character type guy, he'll probably say stuff to get Jeff Hardy mad, and then a big rivalry could possibly happen after this match between those two. That would be interesting, but like I said, it is a little bit dumb, but I feel like it's also, like you said, entertaining.
It's entertaining
because they're talking about his personal life, but I feel like I wouldn't have put my personal life out there.
Okay.
Did you guys check out the opening spot on SmackDown tonight before we guys went on the show?
No. I was cleaning my pool. That's why I was cleaning my pool, putting a tarp on it. So we definitely didn't catch it, but I can definitely catch it on the on YouTube or on WWE.com.
Well, you guys are probably gonna see what happens, but I don't know. There's been rumors all week that there has been a drug testing thing. We talked about it about the show yesterday.
We talked about it yesterday.
Doing it. Let's just say somebody got pissed on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All up in their face.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But moving on. Sorry.
It's okay. So who's your pick for that match, Jaden? Jeff Hardy against Sheamus.
I honestly have no idea. I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but I don't like neither of them.
Okay.
I don't like neither. I'm not saying they're bad wrestlers. I'm not saying they're bad wrestlers, but I don't like neither of them. Like they're good wrestlers in the ring, but like definitely nowhere near.
I get it. Listen,
okay,
Jaden, bro, right here, bro. I get it. Listen, I get it because nobody really jumps up for excitement. It's like, yo, y'all ready to see that Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus match?
right. Like what? And then like they don't wrestle the way they used to. Like Jeff Hardy can't, and everybody knows what the Swanton Bomb is now. Jeff Hardy can't climb up a 6 foot ladder or jump off of the balcony and do a Swanton Bomb like how we used to. Because of this PG era. So nobody gets excited for it
Listen,
anymore.
let me tell you something. I'm going for Jeff Hardy, but in my opinion, these two pretty much need to move aside and let the younger generation start taking over, make this business much better than what it was before. Bring a Gargano up to the main roster. Bring Adam Cole. Bring Keith Lee. Bring these guys up. The fans are wanting them. Fans want to see
Well,
them.
we don't refer as to moving up anymore. It says making the move.
Yeah.
We don't call it bringing it up now because NXT's at the same level as Raw and SmackDown.
So, okay, you're right. Okay, next match. Apollo Crews, United States Heavyweight Champion, against Andrade. What is your pick on this one, Jaden?
I feel like, oh my goodness. Okay, I feel like there's two sides to this. Andrade is a really strong wrestler, and he's a tall wrestler, but he can also move fast in the ring. So like he's like one of those big men who can move, and he's quick with his feet. But Apollo Crews is one of those high flyer type guys. He can do flips and stuff like that. So I feel like sometimes, or most of the time, I should say, short men have an advantage over the tall men because not always the tall men are.
So who's your pick?
I don't have a pick.
Why not?
That's what I'm trying to explain.
There's no explanation. You see, it's Apollo or it's Andrade.
There is an
Make your
explanation.
pick, Jaden. Make your pick already.
Just make your pick.
There's an explanation to it.
No,
But if I had to choose, it would be Apollo.
Okay, all right.
I'm going Apollo.
All right,
If I had
Jose.
to choose, I'm going
I
It's
remember your
Apollo
pick.
Crews, bro. It has to be
Apollo Crews. It's going for Apollo Crews.
It has to
I
be
picked
Apollo.
Andrade for the simple fact that everything that's going on with him and Angel Garza, I would like to see Angel Garza win the United States title. I'm still sticking to my guns with that.
Okay.
That's a solid pick. That's a solid pick.
That is a solid pick.
Next match.
Okay.
Asuka against Nia Jax for the Raw Women's title. Jose, you made your prediction yesterday. Does it still stand for this match?
It stands, bro. It's going to be Asuka.
Who is your pick?
I agree. I gotta go with Asuka.
No, I definitely got to go with Asuka. I do not want Nia Jax winning that title. Especially, listen, I know she could probably be great talent, but everything she's doing right now,
I'm not gonna lie,
the only thing I don't want to see again, as I mentioned yesterday, I don't want to see Asuka and Charlotte Flair again.
oh no.
I already don't.
They don't get me wrong, they did have a good match, but I don't feel like that match was good enough to be like a second round match. But like I said, it was a good match. But yeah, like you said, I wouldn't want to see those two go after again. Like start giving these new people a chance to go against, all these people.
No, absolutely. So we're all agreement in Asuka.
Yeah.
All right, good. Now, next match. We got Braun Strowman, Universal Champion, against The Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match.
Oh,
Now,
no, you gotta say it right, bro. You gotta say it right. If you're gonna say Miz and Morrison's name, you gotta say it right. Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Well, I'm not too fond of The Miz and John Morrison. I'm sorry. It's just
Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
they're better as a tag team instead of going for the title, the regular Universal title, in my opinion, anyway. So, but I'm going with Braun Strowman on this one all the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, me
It has to
too.
be, bro.
For the simple fact, we want to see the Bray Wyatt
Yeah.
defeating against Strowman.
Not even that. Braun Strowman has a huge advantage because, they're basically really small compared to Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is a really humongous guy, and he'll probably do.
Well, he has had a bad history of losing titles in a handicap match because he did it in the Intercontinental title.
Okay, he did, but he could probably learn from his mistakes. He could have learned from his mistakes. He could have learned, the tactics of going in a handicap match. Take down one, take control of the other one, and then there you go. But like you said, I can't sleep on the Miz and Morrison either because they could take that match. But who knows if they were to win that match? Even though they probably just got back together, we could see a breakup of the Miz and Morrison.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump back for a second. We're gonna see Asuka against Nia Jax, right, Jose?
Yep.
Do you think at any time will be seeing the presence of Ronda Rousey?
Nah, not anytime soon, bro.
At
Ronda
all?
Rousey, nah. Ronda Rousey's a thought of the past, bro. Ronda Rousey don't want none with any of these chicks. If she's gonna come back, she's coming back for Becky, and Becky ain't gonna be back until about a year from now. So it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah. We don't see any no Ronda Rousey for now. Here's my question: where in the world is Shayna Baszler?
You made me call. That's a good question. I'm surprised that they haven't pulled the trigger on bringing her to the main roster yet. You know,
Why isn't she fighting Asuka? She should be fighting Asuka.
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Agree.
To me, I think we had mentioned it before that I think it was you that mentioned in the show that you didn't think Shayna Baszler was ready yet to get that push until it comes to the point when it's Charlotte Flair pretty much beat everyone. Now, where's the push? Like,
Well, the problem is the whole problem with Shayna Baszler, and I know we're kind of sidetracking because we're talking about Backlash, but since we are talking about Shayna Baszler, they dropped the ball with her as soon as they booked that match with Becky. And the problem is because she didn't go 100% with Becky because Becky was pregnant. So that made Shayna Baszler didn't look bad. I want to say look bad, but it didn't show off what she's truly capable of. And
Right.
and I feel like that really hurt her. So now where is she? She's back in the shuffle. When they don't know what to do with you, they just put you back in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just didn't use her correctly, and it's unfortunate because, and I've always been very critical of Shayna Baszler because even when I used to go to the Full Sail tapings here in Orlando, and see Shayna Baszler, she was one of my favorite superstars, and even when she made her debut in the Mae Young Classic a few years ago, I was critical of her too because I didn't really like her wrestling style, but she got better and she just got really, really good. So it really breaks my heart to see what they've done to Shayna Baszler these last few months.
no, absolutely, I agree. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We definitely went off topic. Let's continue with what we have going on. The next match is Drew McIntyre against Bobby Lashley for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. What are your thoughts on this, Jaden?
I gotta give it to Drew McIntyre. Not just the fact, not just. I see the whole thing with controversy over there.
No, he made his pick yesterday. He's gonna
Okay,
explain
but
why.
I feel like Drew McIntyre is gonna win just at the fact that they just gave him the title. But look, I'm not gonna sleep on Bobby Lashley either because Bobby Lashley is a big guy and he's fast in the ring. But Drew McIntyre is also one of those type of guys who can probably compete with a Bobby Lashley. So I would love to see those two go at it because I feel like that will be probably one of the best matches on the card. But I just gotta give it to Drew McIntyre.
Okay, Jose, you mentioned your pick yesterday, but my son actually didn't hear that.
Solid choice. No, that's a solid choice, Jay. But let me tell you though, listen, with everything going on and just being on the real right now, just with everything going on, and I explained this on the show very, very methodically. The majority of the champions are either colored or brown. Okay, tag champs, women champs, or Asian. The main your United States champion, he's black. The tag team champions on SmackDown, New Day, they're black. A lot of black and brown representation. This is the time to pull the trigger on Bobby Lashley, on one Bobby Waterford Lashley, okay? It's time to pull that trigger, and especially with having MVP in his corner, this is the best time to pull that trigger on Bobby Lashley. Besides, not to mention the fact that it is SummerSlam season, and guess what? We need a main event. And guess what's going to happen? We might have one Bobby Waterford Lashley going up against Brock Lesnar. That is a possibility. Or we can have a more drawn out storyline of Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, which I am totally okay with because I've been really liking the storyline.
Like who knows though? Bobby Lashley has been worked his way back up to the wrestling.
The pairing of Bobby Lashley and MVP, that was a perfect.
That was a perfect.
Like you couldn't find it. I think it was a better pairing than Lilo Rush and Bobby Lashley with MVP and Bobby Lashley now.
Yeah.
So It's a great combination. I'm looking forward to seeing. I actually want to see Bobby Lashley win for the mention that he did meant what he said of everything going on. It sends a statement out to the world. This is what's happening. We're making this happen. Let's do it. So yes, you got Drew, Bobby, and Bobby. You stick with that. Now the main event, the so-called greatest wrestling match ever. Edge against Randy Orton. Jaden, we got Jose had his pick yesterday. It was a little bit controversial, I should say, about it. But what are your thoughts? We're gonna let him give him his thoughts in just a moment. With these two superstars, with Edge returning back after so long, do you think he can contend in an actual wrestling match?
Yeah, I feel like, Edge proved it, when he went to the Royal Rumble, and Edge also proved it when he was in the last man standing match with Randy Orton. So I feel like he would probably be able to, go longer than normal. I just feel like Randy Orton would probably give it to him since, Edge is, a little old. But I feel like this wouldn't be the greatest match of all time. It could be a great match, don't get me wrong. This match is probably going to be an absolutely amazing match. But I feel like it could have been named the greatest match of all time if this match was to happen at both of their primes. And I'm not talking about Randy Orton, the Viper prime. I'm talking about the Legend Killer Randy Orton. And Edge, just Edge after Edge and Christian broke up. That type of Edge.
Why do I have a feeling I got Jose ready to say something about this comment you just said? So let's hear it, Jose. What you got?
So I just gotta say,
I feel like the slogan should be like the greatest wrestling match ever. Is it though? Because there's we talked about so many matches a little bit earlier that it's really hard to really call this the greatest wrestling match ever.
It hasn't even happened yet. It hasn't happened yet.
Exactly, it hasn't even happened.
It hasn't happened, so we won't know what to expect.
It's such a big hype. Looking at B and Rico on my show, he was saying this. He was like, "Look at this B like a 4-minute squash match." And they're gonna call this the greatest wrestling match ever. it'll be spear, RKO, boom, it's done. That's how the match is probably gonna go down. And then they're gonna call this the greatest wrestling match ever. But yeah, it's really hard to take it seriously just because even the guys themselves, Edge, he's like, how am I supposed to live up to the hype of having the greatest wrestling match ever? It's really hard. But no, Edge, I think definitely gets the win on this one. He just like Jaden said, he proved it at Mania. He proved it at the Rumble. He can go. A wrestling match is just nothing but the same thing that you've been doing, but with a little bit more rules. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be able to pull his own weight.
Well, I'm giving it to Randy Orton. I'm giving it to Randy Orton, and I'm gonna possibly see a SummerSlam rematch at between these two men. Now, here's my final question. With this greatest wrestling match, I'm asking both of you, do you think that they should be on this list as the greatest wrestling matches of all time?
See, like we said,
the match hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So say the match did happen. When it's going to happen. And it was a good match. Then what? What's next?
Then we can talk business there. But right now, we don't know what to expect. We don't know if the match is going to be like, quick RKO 1, 2, 3, or a quick spear 1, 2, 3, or it could be a long match, but it might not be as good as we all thought it would be.
Well, Jaden, listen, I want you to do something for me, okay? I want you to clear the shelf for me because you see, Jose got a title belt that he put on the line yesterday that I'm going to take from him after I win these predictions for Backlash. And, become
you're talking about that beauty right there?
You see that beauty right there? See that? You see that beauty right there, right? It would look great in our house, wouldn't it? You can be honest. The wrestling kid, the wrestling whiz can tell them what we about here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
good Lord.
Just being honest, I'm the true
He's the true champion, but I beat him in the hardcore match. So we are even right now.
Yeah, right now. taking my title.
Jaden, how old are you? 13, 14?
14.
You beat a 14-year-old kid.
Listen.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong? How are you not in jail? Why you got arrested?
His life.
That is assault against a minor.
Hit me over the back. Hit me over the head with a table.
That was self-defense. I saw that match. That was self-defense. How dare you assault on a minor? How are you not in jail right now?
Listen,
How do you not have? How did you not lose custody on your own
We beat the shit
child?
out of each other in a wrestling match. He won. I gave him props for the match. Now I'm still champion, and I'm gonna stay the evolution of pro wrestling heavyweight champion.
For now.
For now.
It's coming right back to me though.
Oh
Telling
Lord.
you.
Anyway, those were our predictions. Anyway, which I'm still not. Oh, I still haven't forgotten the fact that Jose still wants to smoke on WWE 2K20. You know, on the PlayStation. So you know, I gotta bring the business to him so he can know who's the true gamer here.
Bring it, bro. I want to smoke all day, every day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our time is up. As always, we always have the pleasure of inviting Ricans of Wrestling's own Mr. Jose G, the always controversial and economical podcast host that this man has. It's never a dull day when you got this man on the show.
Absolutely not.
So, please, guys, always tune into that show Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. Ricans of Wrestling, him with his confidant, Mr. Rico El Glorioso.
That's a good attempt. El Glorioso.
See, there you go. You see? So that's his partner. These two do great work. Tune in every Thursday and watch them while we're there. Jose, we've been a pleasure to have you on the show as always. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for causing controversy as always on the wrestling show.
I got you. Hey, and remember, if you don't like tacos, I'm not your type.
Jesus Christ.
That's
Thank you,
what
wrestling fans. See this guy. You see this guy. It's too much controversy for this man. Too much, man. Too much.
Man.
So, Jose, I will see you within a week or two back on your show. As always, causing controversy and being the encyclopedia for wrestling, as I always am, and doing the booking as I always do. So
I'll do it.
See, he's not happy about that. He knows. You see on his face. He's like, yeah, whatever. Whatever. All right, brother. We appreciate you being on the show, man. We'll see you later. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for joining us. And we're hoping to have you again on the show in the future, man. Take care, Jose. That was Jose Gonzalez of Ricans of Wrestling. Always controversial when it comes to our show, as well as on his and Ricans of Wrestling Thursday nights at 7 p.m. where they talk about the entire week of professional wrestling, AEW, WWE, and any pay-per-views that they have. As always, fans, please join us in following Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Evolution of Pro Wrestling. If you have any concerns, comments, or topics, please feel free to email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. Also, fans, I would like to announce that starting Monday, we will no longer be hosting our watch party at 8 o'clock. It will be at 6:30 sharp for our watch party match of the week and our interactive discussion. Next week, we will finally have the topic, Fantasy Warfare 2 Tag Teams. We will conduct that topic, 10 tag teams from the 80s and 90s that I will be picking from the 2000s and
the ones
more.
that I will be picking.
we're going to have a hell of a topic that day.
Absolutely.
Fantasy Warfare 2 tag teams.
Looking forward.
And as always, fans, for myself, the encyclopedia of professional wrestling, Lewis, from the Wrestling Whiz Kid, Jaden, and from my producer and director, my lovely wife, Yesenia, and from all of us here at Evolution of Pro Wrestling, have a good night, fans. We will see you next week.